So last night during Slammiversary, Impact Wrestling announced that in October, towards the end of October that is, that Bound For Glory would be emanating from Las Vegas. Now, I guess you could say the big reel-in for this edition of Bound For Glory, the big reeling in of it, for the fans, is the fact that apparently it's not just going to be an all-out Impact event. That instead, basically, Impact is going to be joined along by the likes of New Japan, AAA, and AEW. And when the news hit about this, it got some people excited, if not a lot of people excited. As a matter of fact, Alex, just Alex Central, just Alex here on YouTube, even commented that it seems that Impact Wrestling is becoming the multiverse of wrestling, which he's cool with. Which kind of tells me he's probably going to tune into Bound For Glory to see how this turns out. But the ultimate question basically is this a good idea by Impact Wrestling? Is this a good move by Impact Wrestling? And not just Impact Wrestling, but those that will be involved, like New Japan, AAA, and most importantly, AEW. Is this a good move on their part? Because we know, essentially, a couple of weeks later, AEW's got Full Gear, which is like the Starrcade, I guess you could say, that ends the year. It's like their final battle. It's like their Bound For Glory. And it's the final pay-per-view of the year, so they want to make it a big deal, seeing as though they're going to be in St. Louis, or at least in the St. Louis region, when that happens. But again, the question obviously is this a good move for everyone involved? And I would have to say that this is not just a good move, if done right, but to me, this is basically, at least in my opinion, a more modernized, better attempt, if you will, at sending a message to WWE. And that message is that no matter how hard you try, we will not be ignored. That you will have to acknowledge us one way or another. And I think that's exactly why Bound For Glory is being presented this way. It's a big opportunity on a big stage, depending on what venue they have. They could end up going to Sam's Town. They can end up going to the New Orleans Arena, or not New Orleans Arena, but the Orleans Arena, if you will. They can end up going there. They could possibly find a way to sell out the not Thomas and Mack Center, but the, it would be the Thomas and Mack Center, wouldn't it? I don't know. But basically, depending on the venue they're at, I should say, depending on the venue that they're at, they have an opportunity to let the voices be heard. And like I said, send that message to WWE that they will not be ignored, and that WWE has to acknowledge their existence sooner than later. That's the only reason they're doing this. And to me, this is a better way of doing it than what AWA, CWA, and WCCW tried to do back in 1988 with Super Clash 3. They tried to do the same thing by sending a message loud and clear, or at least they attempted to the NWA and to the WWF, that they would not be ignored, that both companies needed to acknowledge their existence. And unfortunately, they failed. Now, now, could failure be an option here? Absolutely. Failure could definitely be an option if they don't present this correctly. However, since all parties are basically somewhat on the same page in exchanging talent, if you will, I mean, a good example of that is the freaking Switchblade, the never openweight champion himself, Jay White, debuting at Slammiversary and teasing a pretty much world title confrontation with Kenny Omega. Excuse me. If that's any example of everybody being on the same page, I don't know what is. So to me, this is definitely a good move on their part because it's a more modern take on what was attempted back in '88, but potentially going to be more successful, and perhaps will be enough on Impact's grounds, on Impact's territory, if you will, to send that message loud and clear for WWE to hear. But like I said, could they fail? Absolutely. Because of the fact that a lot of parties could be in the kitchen that don't need to be in the kitchen. What you would need is the right people. Select a group of people that are on the same page to book the show and book it in a way that can get the message across. And to me, if they do that, ladies and gentlemen, I think they will have a successful Bound for Glory. No matter what venue they're at, whether it's the Orleans Arena, whether it's Sam's Town, whether it's the Thomas and Mack Center, I think that's the other basketball venue or indoor venue they have besides Allegiant Stadium. Whatever of those three venues they choose, to me, they've got a great chance, probably the best chance to send the message. And will they be successful? We'll have to see. Because like I said, if there's too many cooks in the kitchen, it's going to blow up in their face, and they're going to fail, and they're going to become a laughingstock. Not just Impact for being the ones to potentially present this idea and making it happen, but New Japan, AAA, and mostly AEW are going to look like laughingstocks. So if I'm these companies, like I said, I select certain people to work together to book this show, so we know it'll be booked correctly, to the point that it will be able to send a message to the WWE, to anybody else that doesn't want to take us seriously, that we are here to stay and we are meant to be taken seriously. That's what I would do to make sure failure is not an option. But yeah, I look at this basically as being a more modern, if not more successful take than what they tried in '88, with Super Clash, here with Bound for Glory. I see it's a better opportunity. It's a bigger platform. You got other ways of watching the show. And I think they will succeed in sending a message to WWE and any other promotions or any other fans, that doubt that they can, last as long as they can together in this partnership. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I feel they have an opportunity to do. But the way, again, they need to be successful in doing it is to make sure they do not have too many cooks in the kitchen and only have those they can trust to be on the same page to get this done. And that's all I can really say. I mean, I got to give it to Impact Wrestling. If they're the ones, I should say, that suggested this idea to make Bound for Glory essentially a real life all-star Super Bowl wrestling card involving matches, that include stars from all these promotions, including theirs, in a opportunity to send a message to the doubters, the critics, and mostly the biggest wrestling company in the world, WWE, that hey, you need to take us seriously because we're coming down your throats. To me, if this was their idea to do this, I gotta give them credit. But again, to me, they have to do this right. They cannot screw this up. They screw it up, they're gonna make themselves and they're gonna make everybody else involved look like laughingstocks. That's what's gonna happen. So if I'm Impact Wrestling, if I'm AEW, if I'm AAA, and I'm New Japan, I select a certain group of people that I know will be on the same page to book the show and make sure it's a show that not only, gives us matches, we've been wanting to see, dream matches, dream championship matches, whatever the case may be, that we've been wanting to see, but also in the end sends the fans that'll be in attendance there, whatever venue they'll be at, home happy, along I should say, with those watching on Fight.tv, as well as on Impact Plus and pay-per-view. It'll send them home happy, or they'll allow them to turn off the TV or the computer screen or whatever the case may be, turn it off happy and satisfied, knowing that they got a great show that they can believe sent the message that they know these wrestling companies want to send under this event's umbrella. That's that's the kind of team that needs to be brought together to put this show together and make it the success that it needs to be. But yeah, got to give it to Impact Wrestling. If they're the ones that came up with this idea to make it happen, all power to you. You are indeed, as just Alex put it, the multiverse, or seemingly the multiverse of pro wrestling right now. And I wish you all the best of luck in this, endeavor in October. I'll definitely be tuning in, believe it or not. I will try to tune in on October 24th to see exactly what happens. But again, you have to make sure you have the right people, working together on the same page behind the scenes to ensure that it does. Because if not, like I said, you're going to be a laughing stock. You will be a laughing stock, and that is one thing you do not want to happen to you, or anybody involved with this event. So again, thumbs up to Impact Wrestling for making this happen. Wish you all the best of luck, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. How do you feel about Impact Wrestling going with Bound for Glory? Basically going with Bound for Glory with the idea of doing these interpromotional dream matches, perhaps dream championship matches, if you will, at the event. How do you feel about it? Do you think this is going to be a better, more modernized, successful attempt, at many promotions coming together to go against the big promotion of WWE, or at least send a message to them and the doubters that they need to be taken seriously? Do you think this will be a success? Or do you think it'll blow up in their face and it'll humiliate all of them involved? Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment if you like. I know I sound like I rambled a bit. I do apologize for that. But as well as being repetitive, I do apologize for that. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Like the video. But yeah, thumbs up to Impact for coming up with this idea for Bound for Glory. But again, make sure you have the right people coming together behind the scenes that are on the same page to make this work, to give us the matches, championship dream matches or regular dream matches that we've been wanting to see, and that in the end sends the crowd that's there in that venue home happy, as well as basically allows the viewers to turn off the TV, or or basically close out their window on their computer, or whatever the case may be where they're watching it. Basically send them home, or if you're not, well, they are home, I should say, but send them away happy, if you will. Make sure you have the right people to do that, because if not, I hate to imagine what could happen. But again, let me know what your thoughts are. Comment if you like the video, and I will talk to y'all later.